y'all, welcome to the shop. Today we're going to be finishing up some light heads here. So what we have is a set of Whelen reds and blue for the rear. I'll show you that shortly. But all we're really doing is hooking up power and ground, and that's really it. So let me get you set up so you can see what we're doing. Alright, so this is our light head. It is a pretty simple one. It is a Ion T series, just red. The identifier is TLIR. And this is our Whelen series that we'll be using for the rear of the car. Alright, so we have our light head power hooked up, and it's going to route down through the bumper, and then we're going to go across here to the other side. It's going to wrap around the tail light, and it's going to end up here, where we would then route it over to a ground back behind this panel. So let's just finish the process. So I'm going to start with stripping the wire back here so we can get a crimp on and then run this to our light head where the ground follows the rest of the vehicle. So we start with our crimpers, there's applying tools, and we crimp. Easy. And next, we put some shrink wrap on it, which I have some right here for us. So we like to use glue. This type of clear wrap. It's glue. You heat it up and it bites down on the on the wire where it'll actually glue onto it. And then I take a second wider gauge of glue adhesive and cover both, just to ensure that this is weather protected. This is a Wisconsin vehicle, of course, so we don't want to allow any water ingress into the wire, potentially causing impedance. So with that, first things first, we'll route the clear tubing on here, followed by what you're going to crimp. And then this is when you'll get your crimper and check, and it's good here on this side. And next is our ground on the other side. So again, take a little too much, put it on the ground side, our crimp, which looks like I am out, so I'll be right back. So I've made you a little closer so you can get a better view. This is what I'm talking about as far as the little crimp thing we're going to be putting on here. Anyway, you put it on your light head after you put your little shrink wrap. And actually, you know what? I made a mistake. I don't know why I thought this. I thought I needed another one, but all I need is to put these two together. Now, it's been a long day. It is currently 7 p.m. and I have been up since 2 in the morning, so I'm a little off in my game. Oh, and I seem to have made another mistake. This is our gasket that you're supposed to put on before you crimp. And unfortunately for me, I did not do that. So there's a workaround, thankfully. What we can do is still put this through, and we're going to cut a little slit here to get it around, get the other wires around, and then it should be golden. Alternatively, I can actually reroute the wire and pull it through on the opposite side here. Since I know I have enough and I know I don't have to worry about, so I want to do it the right way, right? I don't want to cut more wire. I don't have that much to work with on this side, so how about we do that instead? So I have light head routed, the power wire finally routed through after making that stupid rookie mistake. So now we're going to route this through the bumper, which is very easy to do, obviously. Let's just do that. So feed it through their hole, and the behind this bumper is your frame. So I'm going to have to get underneath the car and make sure that this actually gets pulled through in the right direction, or else we're going to have a hard time. Right. So now, thanks to my stupid mistake, I am back underneath the car. So first order of business is to find the ground wire, which is here. And second order of business is to then find the red wire. Now there are a lot of ways to do this. The most easy way is to tape the wire. Let's say you're fishing and you want to pull one out. You tape this ground, for example, to it, and you can just pull it. But I like to do things the not so easy way, and make life difficult for no good reason. You can just ask my wife that question. Do I do things according to how easy they are, do I just make life easier, or sorry, more difficult for myself? And she will tell you that I am a masochist and I just do things the difficult way, as parent here. Okay, so now that we finally got it routed properly, we can begin finalizing our crimp here. So, get your trusty crimp tool and line up your blades here and give her the good old squeeze. Give her the beans, if you will. And test your connection. Nothing not pulling apart, that's a good sign. Now we can just get rid of the slack for the foot. The next order of business is to snug this up, right? So we should have 2 little screws that we can utilize here, and we already have our holes identified on where we need this to go. But before we actually snug this up, you may notice there's a bunch of blue tape here. Well, that's what I used to make sure I was within the lines of here, so we wouldn't have any messed up. One line's higher than the other, or over to the right, or I guess we got one hole there. Second hole for mounting. Okay, so now we have our holes. We no longer need the painted. Michael Jordan. All right, so let's make sure our orientation's all right and stick her in. Finish mounting these with our screws that we had just drilled holes for. And what I'm doing here is lining it up with our gasket. So I'll line this screw up with the gasket here, get her started, and then line it up with our hole. Give her a couple threads just to bite a bit, and then we're gonna line it up on the other side, essentially repeating what we have just done. Now you want your gasket to seal, but you also don't want it to bubble up. I can't really show you here, but essentially what you don't want is you don't want this to be so tight that your seal may fold in on itself. So just be aware of that while you're putting in your lights. Now some of you with a keen eye may have noticed that I did not heat shrink those wires. Well, I noticed too shortly after installing, tightening the screws. And yes, I had to take it back out and reheat shrink. Right now, I think this is where we're going to stop. I clearly am too tired to be doing this. So with that, we're going to wrap this up, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.